The Departmental Assembly approved Draft Ordinance 038 that seeks to support the creation of a renal unit for the department.
In recent days, the departmental government signed a comodatum that seeks the creation and adaptation of a renal unit in the Clarence Lynn Newell Memorial Hospital. In view of this situation, and to give continuity and guarantees to the project, the Departmental Assembly approved a draft ordinance that will strengthen the deployment of this renal unit.
Yesterday, we approved Draft Ordinance 038, which seeks to implement a renal unit. We want to clarify two things to the community. One, the local government, together with the social state company, was making progress in the development of the project. But it is not the same that the government implements this type of projection than that there is a draft ordinance that regardless of who is the governor on duty, this person can guarantee the provision of the renal unit.
The renal unit will allow patients who require hemodialysis and peritoneal dialysis procedures, avoiding that they have to move to the interior of the country to receive this service.
What this is going to do or allow is to unite more than 80 families that are living in the interior of the country to undergo hemodialysis. With the implementation of the renal unit, we are going to allow this type of treatment to be done in San Andres.
The renal unit will be furnished with all the equipment, with 13 machines in a room, 2 machines available for continuous dialysis, among other equipment. This unit will be managed by an operator who will make the investments and maintenance of the project. The comodatum signed by the departmental government establishes that it will not have to inject economic resources to the renal unit because the provider will support all the technical part and provision of the service.
The National Register Office announced the date on which Colombians can register their ID cards or change their voting place for the 2023 territorial elections.
According to the calendar of regional election for next year, the National Register Office is informing that this Saturday the registration of ID cards will be open for citizens who wish to change their voting place.
Este sábado 29.
This Saturday 29th, the registration ID cards will begin from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The people who register are those who have changed their address. If indeed before I lived in Guinea and I moved to San Luis, you can register in the post of San Luis for the elections.
On October 29 of 2023, Colombians will elect mayors, governors, councilmen, deputies to departmental assemblies, and councilmen of local administrative boards for the period of 2024-2027.
Officials from the Ministry of Environment arrived on the island to socialize the national wetlands policy.
The Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development with Coralina socialized the project of the National Wetlands Policy Update with the purpose of protecting these ecosystems that in many parts of the country and in the world are being violated in their spaces, invaded and polluted.
We came to the island so that from the vision of the entities and communities, they can visualize themselves in updating processes, incorporating that the island vision as the islands in the framework of the management of wetlands at a national level are reflected in some policy guidelines. Although the policy guidelines are thick, they are the ones that define the course for the management of these ecosystems. And as in the future, we are talking about more than 10 years, processes can be generated to implement these policy lines throughout the country and especially in the insular zone.
105.8 acres of wetlands are occupied on the island of San Andres, which are home to various species that are part of the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve. Some of these wetlands are located in sectors such as Hillwell, Guinea Hen, Zuotas, Lowy Cave, Fate Pond, and Spratbite, among others.
The Secretary of Public Utilities called on the community of the islands to dispose of solid waste, white goods, and usable waste correctly, and to take into account the itinerary of the companies that operate collection service.
In order to avoid congestion and the mixing of usable and white line waste with disposable waste, the Secretary of Public Services, Asbill Bryan, called on the community to dispose of such waste currently and to separate what should be collected by Naranjo Recoveries from what is collected by Trustbuster.
The usable waste, cardboard, glass, separate them so that when the trucks arrive to pick them up, they can be disposed of properly in the sanitary landfill, and those that are usable by the RSU plant. There have been situations where any type of waste is disposed of outside its stipulated schedule. For example, mattresses and chairs are put out when it is the route for ordinary solid waste. So the call is that those who are not at home during the socialization schedule can get information through the telephone lines provided by the different solid waste operators.
On the other hand, the Secretary appealed to the community to be patient while the plant waste left on the street of the island after Hurricane Julia is being collected, indicating that work is being done to complete the collection.
The plant waste that is still on the sidewalks and public places is being picked up by the special solid waste route because there is a large amount of trees that fell to the ground with the passage of Hurricane Julia. There were also trees cut down by the Risk Management Unit, firefighters, and the community itself, which were not previously reported by the community. We invite you to inform the Governor's office which locations near you still have trees, because although the Control and Surveillance Group is conducting this tour, it should be understood that there were a large number of trees that were knocked down by the natural phenomenon and others that were taken down for safety reasons.
And two activities have been programmed by the leadership of the First Baptist Church with the purpose of raising funds that will be destined for the reconstruction of the infrastructure and roof that were damaged by the passage of Hurricane Julia in the department.
An invitation to solidarity has been made by the First Baptist Church to the community. The First Baptist Church, Mission Hill Church, was affected in its structure and roof by the passage of Hurricane Julia, leaving estimated damage of several million pesos. For this reason, two activities have been organized for this weekend to support fundraising. For this Saturday, there will be a radiothon by the radio station Good News from 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, and a food sale on the premises of the Harbor View Station in Perry Hill.
Let us come out with something to support this great cause. This is not only for First Baptist Church. This is a possession of the kingdom of God and a patrimony of the Riceal people. Let us do more than talking, but let us come out and support the cause of First Baptist Church.
This is the space where everything began. This is the space where the faith of our people start to rise. The education of our people start to rise. And we want to rescue that part of our culture. We want to rescue that part of our faith.
The entire community is invited to participate in these activities that will be carried out. In the same way, a bank account has been arranged for those who wish to contribute. All the information will be provided at the facilities of the First Baptist Church or at the meeting points and the activities to be developed, which will be the radio station Good News tomorrow from 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, and the food sale at Perry Hill Harbor View States.
The National Hurricane Center estimates that for the next few days, the tropical wave that transits the Caribbean Sea has a 70% of probability of evolution. It is also predicted that it could reach the condition of tropical depression and generate heavy rains in the Colombian Caribbean region.
El día de hoy, viernes 28 de octubre, today Friday, October 28, the National Hurricane Center estimates a 20% probability of evolution for the next 2 days and 70% of greater evolution for the next 5 days. It is very likely to reach the category of tropical depression this weekend.
Significant moderate to heavy rainfall is expected in sectors of the Central and Eastern Caribbean Sea, especially this weekend and early next week, as well as significant rainfall in the coastal cities of the Central and Northern Colombian Caribbean region. The following is recommended to the community. Be attentive during the communiques and information issued by the IDEAM and other local and municipal emergency authorities, especially in the insular zone of St. Andrews, Providence, and Santa Catalina, and the Colombian Caribbean region. Follow the indication and recommendation of the control entities, emergency and response agencies. Be attentive to the upcoming communiques, as there may be sudden increase in the rivers that descend from the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, especially those that flow directly to the Caribbean in the upper Guajira.
The reconstruction of Providence and Santa Catalina is not over. This was what the Constitutional Court determined. For this reason, it issued orders to the national government and the National Management Unit for Risk and Disaster Management.
The Constitutional Court announced that the reconstruction of Providence has not been completed and is far from being finished. According to the High Court, the government failed to comply with the agreements on the basic characteristics that the new houses should have, which led to the delivery of incomplete houses unable to protect their inhabitants in the event of a new hurricane, among other problems that are currently being experienced after the reconstruction process. In the ruling, the Constitutional Court issued several orders. Among them, the following are highlighted. 1. To grant 30 days to the UNGRD and the Mayor's Office of Providence and Santa Catalina to intervene in the field hospital in order to guarantee the minimum condition of availability, acceptability, accessibility, and quality in the provision of health services to the racial population. 2. The UNGRD, the Ministry of Housing, and the Mayor's Office of Providence and Santa Catalina will have 45 days to guarantee the inhabitants a daily supply of at least 65 liters of potable water for personal and domestic consumption. 3. The UNGRD, the Ministry of Housing, and the Mayor's Office of Providence and Santa Catalina were ordered to definitely stop the discharge of domestic sewage into the environment. 4. The UNGRD and the Mayor's Office of Providence and Santa Catalina will have 90 days to definitely close the lands that have been used during the emergency for the temporary storage of debris, garbage, and organic waste. 5th, the UNGRD and the Ministry of the Interior, the Ministry of Housing, and the Mayor's Office of Providence and Santa Catalina will have 15 days to convene the Rizal people in order to advance a consultation process on the process of integral reconstruction of the islands of Providence and Santa Catalina. Among the actions taken by the court, the Ministry of Culture is ordered to translate parts of the summary and the operative part of the ruling in a public and participatory event on the island of Providence and Santa Catalina within a period of no more than 30 days. 7. The Ombudsman's Office and the Attorney General's Office shall monitor, support, and accompany full compliance with the provisions of this ruling.
A new range of service is being offered by the Chamber of Commerce to businessmen and entrepreneurs of the island. Business Consulting is the entity's new initiative to improve the island's commercial offerings.
In order to respond to the needs of the entrepreneurs who have approached the Chamber of Commerce seeking help and guidance for the growth of their businesses, the new initiative in business consulting in restaurant and bar is made available by the entity.
We have had a month to design the formats, create the strategy, consult with advisors, and we want to give the news to the community. We will launch this new service called Business Consulting. It is not a free service. It will be free to start and will last approximately 2 weeks between work sessions. The idea is that we will work on important issues: strategic planning, cost, processes, and the issue of market segmentation for business. We offer support to micro enterprises for the structuring of their business, where the topics that we will address are the structuring of these micro businesses with market research, the definition of the target audience, market segmentation, structuring of costs and expenses, and defining a strategic plan so that they can take into account what they want to develop to strengthen their business idea.
To verify the viability of this new service and the effectiveness in the department, there will be a periodic feedback on what is being developed. After 6 months, the idea is to make an evaluation of how the microenterprise is doing or how it has progressed after the service has been provided.
With this information, we reach to the end of this broadcast. We see you Sunday at 8 p.m. in Teleislas News Weekend. Good night.